Renee, why the hell is this family so cursed? We give lots of money to charity. We do community works, teach our children proper values. And what do we get in return? Nothing but pain and heartache.
Darling, don't torture yourself by thinking there's a cloud hanging over the family. Leo Cromwell simply took a chance on cashing in on the Lord and Buchanan fortunes by convincing Vicky and the rest of us that Christine was Vicky's daughter.
And with lots of help from little Miss Christine.
I am not so sure about that.
Renee, she's been lying through her teeth since she came to Landview.
Darling, it is possible that she is as much of a victim as Vicky is.
Well, anyway, we will not be seeing her again, and that poor excuse of a father she has will go right from the hospital to prison. That could be some consolation to Vicky.
I'm not so sure that anything will console Vicky until she finds her daughter. Oh, Lordy, we're right back where we started from, and with no clues whatsoever.
When I was a little girl, I used to cry myself to sleep every night because I wanted so badly to have a mother. I wanted someone to be there for me when I came home from school and to hug me when I was frightened at night.
I know. Mary Lynn felt the same way.
And I pretended for a long time that she wasn't really dead, that she was someday she was gonna come back to us. And then I finally convinced myself that that was stupid and that my father and I were gonna be fine. And we were just gonna be alone. And then he told me this about Vicky, and I tried to deny it. I tried so hard not to feel anything for her or to care about her.
Why?
Because I was afraid I was gonna lose her too. And I did. And it's all my fault.
Oh, come on. How can you even say that?
Because it's true. If I'd have come back to her the moment I got back from Wilmington and told her the entire truth, then she would have been shocked. And she would have, but she wouldn't have hated me. She wouldn't have thought that I was part of my father's scam.
She got that from Bo and Clint. She was so shocked, she probably didn't even know what she was saying.
She knew. God, wait, I never meant to hurt her.
I know that. But now you've got to convince Vicky of that, too.
I tried. You tried. She's not going to believe me. She's not going to forgive me.
She will if you tell her the whole truth.
Well, you're not going in there and... Get out of my way, Larry. Listen, I'm just as angry about this as you are. But to rush in there and threaten the man with physical harm is not the answer.
He deserves more than a little physical harm for trying to take advantage of Vicky's need to find her daughter.
I agree. He should be punished to the full extent of the law, but you are not the law, and you're not going in there until you promise me you're not going to attack him.
Leo Cromwell is going to regret the day he tried to mess around with the Buchanan family.
Here's what to do when you don't find the right.
You can't change the fact that you're not Vicky's daughter. And you can't just immediately erase all the hurt that she's feeling, but you can try. You can try and change her feelings about you.
It's too late, Wade.
No, it's not too late. You can't give up. You've got to talk to Vicky, and you've got to tell the police that Michael Grant is the one that came up with a scheme to make you Vicky's daughter.
No, they're going to think I invented the entire thing.
No. Not if the cops investigate what Michael Grant is up to and what he hoped to gain from all this.
But he's not going to admit it. It's going to be our word against his.
Okay, all right. If you won't talk to the police, Bo and Clint can lean on him, and I'll guarantee you they'll get a story out of him. Look, I'm going to go talk to Clint right now. I'll make him believe us.
Just drop it. If I have to live with the fact that Vicky hates me, I'll just live with that.
Why? That's not fair to you, and it's not fair to Vicky either. Listen, I know the DA. His name's Herb Callison. And we can somehow strike a deal with him so that they'll exchange your father's testimony against Michael Grant.
The DA is not going to work deals with my father, and Michael Grant's going to convince him not to believe our story.
You're wrong, and I'm going to prove it.
Wade, I appreciate you're trying to help, but you're only going to make things worse for everybody.
I'm gonna make things better. You watch. Just trust me, okay? Now, would you go up to your room and try and relax? I'll call you as soon as I've talked to Clint.
No, sit down. There's something I got to tell you. This is not the first time that this has happened. My father's done this before when he's had too much to drink in a bar. He's been arrested on assault charges before.
Did he do time?
No, I don't know how he got out of it, but he did somehow.
But he's got a record, and Michael Grant can use that against him.
Yes, and Michael Grant, if he goes through with this threat to have my father put in jail for attempting to kill him, then the DA is going to throw the book at him, and Michael Grant's going to get off scot-free.
Yeah, but the Buchanans have plenty of money and plenty of influence themselves.
But they're going to use it against my father, not Michael Grant. My father's hasn't done anything wrong. Wait, if he goes to prison, he's not going to survive. Please. You cannot say anything about this. You cannot breathe a word about Michael Grant's involvement in this. If my father goes to jail, it will kill him. I swear it will. And I cannot live with the fact that it would be my fault.
Okay. I'll let it go for now.
You're not planning another search for that girl again, are you?
Darling, I'm going to do whatever I can to help Vicky find her.
You want to help Vicky? You tell her to stop wasting her time on another wild goose chase.
Asa, the woman has a daughter out there in the world somewhere. She has a right to go looking for her.
Why? So another faker can break her heart? Ever since she found out she gave birth to a daughter 25 years ago, her life has been a nightmare. She cannot take it anymore, and neither can this family.
Asa, you are acting as if she is never going to find her real daughter, ever.
That's the way Vic the Lord set it up.
No. He set it up that she would forget about the birth, but she didn't. So I think it's safe to assume that she will find her child eventually.
She has got one chance in a million. Now, is that worth destroying her marriage, alienate her children, splitting up the family? I think Vicky should stop looking for the girl. You should do everything in your power to make her understand that.
Asa, you are entitled to your opinion, and I am entitled to mine. And I think that she should go on looking, and I am going to do whatever I can to help her.
You hold it. You are my wife.
Now, just a minute. I took a vow to love and honor you and cherish you, not jump every time you snap your fingers.
Damn it, can't you understand? This is the time for this family to stick together.
You just hold it. You call a time out here for a second, please.
I'm trying to get this stubborn woman here to see my side of the situation.
I do see it. I just happen to think that you are wrong.
You know, whether or not Vicky looks for her daughter is kind of a moot point right now because we got Kevin and Joey waiting upstairs talking about Christine.
Oh, Lordy, did they hear Christine and Vicky arguing?
No, but they are waiting for Christine to come upstairs and see their new Christmas presents. They're asking me all kinds of questions about her, where she grew up, where she went to school. They want to get to know her better.
Cord, you didn't tell them the truth.
No, of course not. I think Vicky or Clint should handle that. But Vicky's in no condition to talk to them right now, and Clint took off after Leo.
Oh, Tina, darling, how's Vicky doing?
I'm going to go upstairs.
Asa, I have a message for you, and I think you should hear it before you go upstairs.
Clint, I think Larry's right.
What the hell's wrong with you? I thought you were on my side.
Well, of course I'm on your side, but going in there beating the hell out of Leo Cromwell, that's not going to help Vicky.
All right, fine. I won't lay a hand on him, okay? I just want to look him in the face when I tell him he's going to spend the rest of his lousy life in prison.
Wait. He did not do this by himself. And you go in there and you threaten him and antagonize him, he's going to clam up and we'll never find out who's in this with him.
Oh, come on, Larry. He orchestrated the whole damn thing.
I'm not so sure about that. There was a whole network of people to pull this thing off. There was that social worker, Miss Parsons, then that friend of Nikki's from the White Lion, Linda, what's her name? They're both phonies.
And what about the two guys who tried to kidnap her again, recreate the kidnapping? And that photograph with Nikki and Leo, that was... He couldn't have done that by himself.
No, he's been a failure all his life, Clint. He's not smart enough to get all these people together and pull off a complicated plan like this.
All right, so who the hell's behind it?
Someone bigger than Leo. Someone who wants more out of this whole thing than just a secure life for Christine.
Like what?
I don't know. It beats me. But when I was in New York, I wanted to get some answers from that Miss Parsons. She disappeared.
You said she was working at a clinic?
Yeah, and then 2 weeks ago, she quit her job. Nobody's seen or heard from her since.
All right, fine. There's no point in standing around here playing guessing games when Cromwell can give us the answers. And don't worry, Larry. I'll put on my kid gloves, and I'll use my best party manners.
pulled the IV.
The closet's empty.
Damn!
Vicky needs our love and support.
Look, she knows that you love her, and she knows that you're concerned, but she wants to be alone.
If she doesn't want to see anybody, fine. Renee and I are going to spend the night here in case there's something we can do.
Asa, Cord and I will be here. So if she needs anything, we'll be here for her. But if you stay, you're only going to get her more upset because she doesn't want you worrying about her.
Darling, we understand. Has Vicky calmed down any?
Well, she's devastated, of course, but I think some of the shock is worn out, and I really think she's going to deal with it.
All right, honey, will you tell her that we love her very much, and we'll come by tomorrow to see how she's doing.
Okay.
All right, but if you need us.
I'll call.
Good night.
Okay, good night.
Good night.
Good night.
Nighty-night.
Cord, I feel so helpless. I mean, there's absolutely nothing that I can say to make Vicky feel better about this.
I just can't believe all this is happening, honey.
I can.
Well, you were right. I mean, you never trusted Christine at all, did you?
No, I didn't. Look, there was just always something that didn't ring true about that whole situation to me. I could never see Vicky in her, you know, and maybe they could have been good friends or something, but there was no real connection between them. Do you know what I'm talking about?
Oh, yeah, well, sure, I see it now. I just don't understand why Vicky didn't see it sooner.
Well, I don't think she's been real objective about this right now.
Yeah, I know, but it seems like she bought everything, hook, line, and sinker, that Leo and Christine had to throw at her.
Well, yeah, I can understand that, though. You and I aren't exactly objective when it comes to CJ, are we?
Well, that's true. You got a point there.
I don't know. Maybe I should have told her about my concerns here. And when Asa told me that he felt the same way about Christine, I should have just told her.
Well, I don't know about that, honey, because if you think about it, Larry and Bo had plenty of proof that Christine wasn't Vicky's daughter, and look how hard it was for her to accept it then. No, and with you just going on a hunch, I don't think you should have told her.
I don't know. You know, I've always had very good instincts about people.
Yeah, sometimes.
What do you mean sometimes?
Well, I mean, like with Gabrielle. Like, what was she doing here today?
Honey, she came by with presents for all of us. I couldn't very well take them and say thanks and goodbye, could I?
Oh?
No, I had to invite her in and tell her to join us.
Yeah, well, you want to tell me where she disappeared to?
Well, obviously she heard Vicky and Christine arguing and thought it was a family matter, and she left. Personally, I think it showed a great deal of sensitivity.
Yeah, right. Well, you think what you want to think. But, honey, I'm just telling you, you better be careful, all right? And that's all I want to say about the subject.
All right, I'll be careful, but don't worry. Besides, right now, I think we ought to be worried about supper. Don't you think the kids are hungry?
Yeah, good point. I tell you what, why don't we round up the kids, go out to the kitchen, and raid the icebox, see what we can do about some turkey sandwiches. Think you can smile?
Yeah. Oh, poor Vicky. I mean, how is she ever going to really know when she finds her daughter if that's really her daughter, if she can believe it?
Well, after this fiasco with Christine, I'm sure that Clint and all of us are going to have to do what we can to make sure that there's enough evidence to prove that we got the genuine article this time. Come on.
You know one thing I'm real happy about? At least I finally know who my family is. I'm happy to know that Victor is my father and Vicky is my sister.
Well, that's good. Use some chow. I don't think I've eaten in 2 hours.
Are you saying that Mr. Cromwell just walked out of here and nobody saw him go?
I don't know how he did it. There was always a nurse at the station, which he would have passed on his way to the elevators.
What about the fire stairs?
Oh, that's impossible for a man in his condition.
Did he have any visitors, like his daughter or anyone like that?
Not that I know of, Dr. Wollick.
Okay. Thanks, Quigley.
Damn. I should have called Rafe as soon as I kicked Christine out of the house. She came over here, and somehow she got him out of the hospital. There's no telling where they are now.
Rafe's probably on his way over.
I'll call and find out. I'll tell you this, if the cops don't find him, I'm going to track him down if it's the last thing I do.
Larry, how could he pull this off? He just had surgery for a knife wound. Now, I couldn't get around for days.
You didn't have complications.
What, is Leo?
Yeah. Yeah, he's had an infection. We were pumping him full of antibiotics with the IV. He never had enough to stop the infection. I'm telling you, if he doesn't get treatment, this escape could cost him his life.
the safest place to bring him.
Right under Vicky's nose?
The cabin is the last place anyone's gonna look for him.
Could you get me to the couch and finish your argument later? I'm going to collapse.
Well, you haven't been much help to us, Leo.
I've done my best. I need a blanket. I'm freezing cold.
I'll see what I can find.
And a pillow.
Would you stop complaining? You know, we took a lot of chances getting you out of the hospital. We should have just left him there.
Only because you want something from me.
Oh, look, take it easy, both of you. Now, Leo, you... Man, I think the trip was harder on him than I thought.
Michael, everybody knows that Leo was digging in the mountain. First, they'll check the campsite, then they'll come looking here. I think we should take him back in the car to Grandview.
No. He is going to spend the night here. After some rest, he'll be stronger and we can move on. Now find a blanket. I'm going to start a fire.
A fire? Terrific. Tell the whole world we're here.
Gabrielle, we are in the middle of nowhere. It is very dark outside. No one is going to see the smoke.
I don't understand why you're doing this. Ever since you got Leo involved with this, he's been nothing but trouble to you.
And ever since Alicia's phone call last night, you have been testy.
You have a right to speak to your wife whenever you choose.
Obviously, you prefer that I don't exercise that right.
I really don't care.
Then why are you so upset?
I'm not upset at the phone call. I was upset at the way you spoke to her. You were so affectionate to her. It didn't sound like you were speaking to an estranged wife.
Gabrielle, you have nothing to be jealous of. Alicia is no threat to you whatsoever, believe me.
Well, then why were you so tender to her?
She is my wife. I was civil to her. She was civil to me. It was a civil phone conversation. She is thousands of miles away, Gabrielle. You are right here in my arms. I am holding you. I am touching you. I am kissing you.
You always know what to do and what to say. All right, I'm sorry that I behaved like a silly schoolgirl.
Well, I think I can forgive you. Now, let's get to work, okay?
I'll go and find the blanket.
On second thought, I'll take care of everything here. You go back to Landview and keep your eyes on the Buchanans. If I should know anything, then you call me here.
All right, now you called your husband, didn't you? You let him know that you were going away on business, is that right?
Yes?
Okay, am I supposed to know where you are?
No, not yet. Do you still have the contractor's estimates at your house?
Yes, I do.
All right, then you bring them over to Grandview tomorrow morning. Martin will inform you that I am out of town. Then you'll have a story in case anybody like Tina should ask.
Okay. I'm gonna miss you tonight.
Me too.
Take care.
Be careful. Well, my friend, everything depends on tomorrow and how successful you are in convincing Vicky Buchanan to trust you one last time.
I'll never forget. I don't get it. Charlie had a sure thing. I mean, he could have made millions in the Angel Burger franchise, and he blew it all on long shots at the track.
Well, gambling's a disease for some people.
Yeah, he just took off. And he left Wanda and the business in a lot of debt. I just don't understand how anybody can be that selfish, you know?
Well, you certainly didn't have any problem defending Christine and her father. What they did was not only selfish, it was criminal.
I didn't defend Leo, and Christine is innocent.
Sure.
Mary Lynn, she came to you for advice as soon as she started believing that Vicky was her mother. You saw how freaked out she was.
Yeah, she did put on a pretty convincing act, but I guess that was all part of her plan.
It wasn't an act. She really believed it. And then when she found that picture of her father and her real mother, she certainly didn't waste any time trying to uncover the truth.
Doesn't it seem a little strange to you that after 25 years, she'd found a picture of her real mother?
No, he'd hidden it from her all those years. And then one day, she just happened to be going through his stuff looking for something else, and she found it. It blew her mind. And she wanted to check it out immediately, but she was too upset, so I drove her all the way to Wilmington.
You drove her to Wilmington?
Yes, I drove her to the Wilmington General Hospital where she was born. We talked to the records clerk. We even talked to the doctor who delivered her. And you think Vicky was upset the other night? You should have seen Christine's face when that doctor told her that he actually remembered delivering Emily Cromwell's baby.
Don't expect me to feel sorry for her.
I'm just trying to get you to understand the hell she's been through.
What about the hell Vicky's been through? Obviously, that doesn't matter to you, and it certainly doesn't matter to Christine, or she would have told Vicky the truth right away.
She went to the party to do that.
She went to the party to do that because she knew that Larry and Clint were going to expose her for the liar that she really is.
She had no idea what Larry and Clint were up to. Look, she is a victim in this just as much as...
You are the victim, Wade. A victim of Christine's wide, innocent eyes and crocodile tears.
It's wonderful seeing you again, Mrs. Grand. But you should have let me know you were coming. I would have sent the car to collect you at the airport.
I wanted to surprise Michael, knowing how much trouble you have keeping secrets from him. Are you terribly upset with me?
No.
Good. I'd like you to meet my niece, Coco Lane.
A pleasure, Miss Lane. Welcome to Landview and Grandview.
I'm happy to meet you, Martin. Aunt Alicia's told me that everything would fall apart without your attention and direction.
He'll deny it, Coco, but it's absolutely true. How is Michael?
Landview seems to suit him, but he still works too hard.
Oh, I can't wait to see him.
Please, make yourselves comfortable.
Martin, where is Michael?
He's not in town, Mrs. Grand.
Oh.
He left very late last night on business.
How long will he be away?
He wasn't certain.
Oh, well, so much for surprises. I don't know why I even try to plan them. They always backfire on me.
Oh, I'm sure when Mr. Grand calls and learns that you're here, he'll make every effort to conclude his business and hurry back to town.
Oh, that's all right. It'll give me more time to explore this beautiful new home.
Did Uncle Michael have the house redecorated?
Yes, and he did a fantastic job of it, don't you think?
He has the same exquisite taste as you.
Oh, it is exquisite, isn't it? Michael is always full of surprises. That's just one of the things I love about him.
Oh, Aunt Alicia, I'm so glad we came here.
Me too. Come on, let's go see what the rest of the house looks like.
Oh, who are you?
Alicia Grand. And since this is my house, I'm the one who should be asking the questions.
I can't eat, Michael.
You've got to eat something if you're going to regain your strength.
You better take me back to the hospital, Michael.
You don't need the hospital. You're stronger today than you were yesterday. And if you do the favor I am asking, I am going to give you enough money to retire to a Caribbean island where you can recuperate in the warm sun and make an entirely new life for yourself.
What kind of life without my daughter's love?
Christine does love you, Leo. She's even forgiven you for working for me.
If I run, I'll lose her. She wouldn't forgive me for that.
I doubt that. She has experienced the Buchanan wrath firsthand. She'll probably want to go with you. Besides, Leo, I have come too far to stop now.
I am a very sick man, Michael. I can't help you.
You've got to have one final talk with Vicky.
Vicky won't talk to me. She can't possibly want to have anything to do with me.
Yes, she will talk to you because you are going to tell her where her real daughter is.
Now enter 7 big sweepstakes with just...
You haven't liked Christine since the day you met her.
That's not true. I did like her, and I did try and help her. But once we found out what type of person she really is, I don't see how you can keep on defending her.
Because she's getting a bum rap. Somebody's got to stand up for her.
Why you?
She works for me. She's my friend. I also happen to know the whole story, and if Christine would let me tell it, everybody else would know she's innocent, too.
The whole story?
She's withholding some information to protect her father.
Oh, brother.
It's not going to hurt Vicky. Don't worry about it.
I suppose that's where you were last night, huh? Getting the whole story from Christine?
You know, there's no point in talking about this anymore. You're not interested in the truth.
I'm interested in knowing how you can find the time to drive Christine all the way to Wilmington and hold her hand until midnight, but you can't seem to find the time to spend with your own wife.
How many times have I driven to Philadelphia to have lunch with my wife to be told she's got to sign pictures for fans or have a little chat with Neil about the monthly newsletter? I'm not the one who's too busy for this marriage. I'm not the one who pays more attention to reporters and fans and cares more about that than working on the marriage.
You're the one who wanted me to do the show to begin with. You thought that it would be great business for you to have Miss Angelberger become a daytime TV star. But once you found out that the schedule was going to be a little hectic, you started complaining because I wasn't at your beck and call.
I never expected you to be at my beck and call. But originally, I hoped that this marriage would be a 50-50 partnership. Lately, I'm putting in 90%. You're putting in maybe 10.
You leave for work in the morning before I do. And you come home at night from work after I do. Are you saying that it's okay for you to work hard, but not for me?
No. No, that's not what I'm saying at all. I just wish you didn't have to put so much overtime in so you could sell yourself to your public.
Giving interviews and signing autographs is part of the whole package. And yes, it is very demanding, but I wouldn't complain, Wade. At least someone's bringing in some decent money and putting it in the bank. I didn't mean that the way it sounded. Wade, I'm sorry, really.
Yeah, me too.
Please don't leave. We have to talk about this. I didn't mean that. I feel awful. I'm sorry.
No, you don't want to know how I feel right now, Marilyn. So before I tell you, I better get out of here.
Finding her real daughter, that is a way I could make up for all the pain I've caused her. Who is her real daughter? Where is she? Have you known about her all along?
I'll give you the details when you have convinced Vicky to come and meet you.
Oh, no. You tell me first before I make any phone call.
I haven't got time for lengthy explanations, Leo. We have to act fast and then get you out of town.
If Vicky forgives me, I won't have to leave town. Nor will Christine. Tell me who her daughter is.
Listen to my instructions very carefully.
You don't know who her daughter is. It's just another lie. Hasn't she been hurt enough? I'm not going to add to her anguish anymore. You can keep your damn money. I'm leaving.
What kind of mercy and compassion is Clint going to have if he finds you? If he doesn't kill you with his bare hands, he'll make sure that you spend your life in prison.
You're the one who's going to spend the rest of their life in prison after I explained that it was you who was behind all...
Nobody will believe a word you say, Leo. One more little lie is not going to destroy Vicky. And it might make you the winner because you have a chance to set things right with Christine. Now, who is more important to you, Leo? Vicky Buchanan or your own daughter?
What, Vicky's still asleep?
No, she's awake. She just didn't want any breakfast.
Oh, boy.
I guess she had another really rough night. You know, she keeps having these nightmares, the same nightmares she's been having for weeks, and I'm sure finding out that Leo and Christine have lied to her is only making them worse. In fact, this is the pin that brought on the first one.
Oh, funny-looking pin. Where'd she get it?
Well, she had it in high school. Apparently, she gave it to one of her girlfriends to hold on to for her, and then that girlfriend, in turn, gave it to John Russell when he was investigating her missing year.
And she had a nightmare about a pin?
Well, I guess sometimes she sees the design.
Huh. What's the deal with the dream? What did she dream about?
Apparently, she dreams she's in this tunnel.
Uh-huh.
And she's trying to get to someone, but she can't see their face. She can only hear their voice. And then she had some kind of a fight with our father, but she doesn't know what it is. And then there's this big explosion, and she wakes up.
Wait a minute. When did she find out that Christine was supposedly her daughter? That was right around the time of her wedding, right?
Yeah.
If you want to play amateur psychologist and do a little dream analysis, Ursula blew up the cake, right? And that killed Steve. Well, maybe in her dream, Vicky was trying to protect Steve, but the explosion pushed her back, right? And maybe her father was in the dream because he was such a over-dominant type of guy.
No, see, she was in the tunnel. I mean, she remembered that when Lysander Clare hypnotized her in that club in New York.
Really? She did?
Yeah, I mean, she remembers the tunnel. And she, this fight with our father, but she doesn't know what the fight's about. But she does remember the tunnel and the explosion.
What does her daughter have to do with all this?
She doesn't know. Cor, do you think I should call a psychiatrist or somebody that could hypnotize Vicky into remembering the rest of that nightmare?
Oh, now, I don't know about that. That could be kind of dangerous, couldn't it?
No, I don't think so, because this time she'd be hypnotized by a doctor, not by some two-bit magician like Lysander Clare.
I don't think it'd be good.
Some more to go on.
The man's a phony. Just find him and arrest him.
What's going on here?
Rafe's giving us the runaround.
Our cousin, the captain of detectives, says there's nothing that the police can do to help us. How's that for justice?
Looking for whole wheat total?
Great. So, Gabrielle, you're managing the hotel for Michael?
Yes, it's undergoing some renovation at the moment before we reopen it as Lambview Grand Hotel. And since Michael and I have been working so closely together on the project, he gave me a set of keys to the house so I could use the office whenever I want.
Please, won't you sit down?
Thank you.
The gowns that Michael purchased from Designs by Delilah, are you the Gabrielle who designed them?
Yes. I hope you like them.
Oh, very much. They're beautiful. I've enjoyed wearing them.
My goodness. A fashion designer, a hotelier. You're quite a versatile woman.
Yes, I also have a son.
Oh, is your husband also involved with the hotel?
My husband is no longer alive. I raised my son alone.
Really?
Michael told me that you were in Paris overseeing a special edition of the magazine, International Flair. You know, I read that quite often when I was at school in England.
Did you? I hope you liked it.
Very much. I'm sure with your busy schedule, your stay with us will be a short one.
No, as a matter of fact, I plan to stay indefinitely. I've spent far too much time away from my husband, and husbands and wives belong together. Don't you agree?
Would you like to do some shopping in Philadelphia?
For what?
Buy anything you want?
Oh, darling. Thanks for trying to cheer me up, but I think it's going to take more than a shopping spree to get my mind off Vicky.
That was just a thought.
You're as concerned as I am, aren't you, about this Cromwell fiasco?
Of course I am. Those good-for-nothings invaded Clinton Vicky's life and turned her upside down. Larry was right when he wanted to keep a lid on this whole thing.
Darling, Vicky and Clint will survive this.
I don't know about that. Since Vicky's quest to find her daughter, the seams of their marriage have been stretched to the limit. Now she's going to start searching all over again.
Asa, Vicky and Clint love each other as much as any man or any woman ever did. And I know that as soon as all this is over, their marriage is going to be stronger than it was before.
I hope you're right. And by the way, you don't have any missing relatives, do you?
Oh, Lordy, I certainly hope not. And what about you? Any former wives on tropical isles? I understand you have a penchant for that sort of thing.
You're very funny. I can see it's going to be pretty hard to keep one step ahead of you.
Well, it will certainly never be a dull marriage. Tell me, darling, now, what kind of business do you have this morning at WVLE?
Well, if everything goes the way I hope it will, WVLE will be under the Buchanan banner once again.
Rafe, if you don't want to help, just say so. I'll call the police commissioner and demand some action from him.
Call him. You'll get the same answers that I gave you.
Look, would you two just keep your voice down, okay? You're just going to upset Vicky again.
Rafe, are you telling me you can't even put an APB out on Leo?
There's no proof he committed a criminal act. The last I heard, fraud was a crime. This guy lied about his relationship with Nikki Smith. He lied about his daughter being Vicky's.
Oh, he never asked for any money. There's no extortion involved.
What, are you saying it is legal for someone to go around lying that somebody else is somebody's daughter?
No, it's clear that he was trying to deceive Vicky, but that is a civil matter, not a criminal act. You can file a civil suit against him, but that does not justify a manhunt.
But Vicky was going to put Christine in her will. She just didn't get around to it yet, and I'm sure that's exactly what Leo was waiting for.
Well, with a good attorney, he can probably wiggle out of any charge you bring against him.
Rafe, Vicky was taken from the White Lion Tavern against her will. She was taken to a hotel and questioned against her will. Now, don't tell me that's not kidnapping.
It's not.
Leo Cromwell is the most likely one to have done it. There's your criminal action.
Yeah, well, it's not my jurisdiction, Clint. The police in New York have been working on this case for weeks. They haven't come up with a thing.
Come on, Rafe, can't you do anything to nail this guy?
Believe me, I'd like nothing better, but until we get our hands on some incriminating evidence, there's not much I can do to nail him.
You want to throw in the towel, just say so. Bo and Cord and I will conduct our own search for Mr. Leo Cromwell.
Ah, sir, come in, come in.
You were one of the men who kidnapped Vicky from the White Lion Tavern. You pretended to be her father.
Arthur Gorman, Leo Cromwell.
What role are you asking the man to play now, Michael?
I will explain later. Have you made arrangements for the munitions expert to meet us?
Yes. Asked me to deliver this.
I have no intention of throwing in the towel. And you can forget about forming some kind of posse to go look for Leo.
This guy didn't act on his own, Rafe. He's part of a very complicated plan to trick Vicky. Now, we've got to get the guy, we've got to pressure him a little bit and get his whole story.
All right, I'll talk to Vicky about Leo and his scheme. We'll see if maybe we can get him on a conspiracy charge, get the feds involved here.
No, Rafe, you can't ask her any questions right now. She's not up to that right now.
Vicky is the one who's had the most direct contact with Leo. If I'm going to build a case against him, I need her cooperation.
If I know Vicky, she's not even going to want to press charges. She'll just want to forget this whole thing.
What they've done was wrong, Bo. And they're not going to get away with it. Now, whether Vicky likes it or not, Leo, Christine, and whoever was involved are going to pay for what they've done to this family.
Sorry about the interruption.
That's all right. I like to have my clothes unpacked as soon as possible, too. I better get back to the hotel and make sure everything's under control. I do hope you enjoy your stay.
Thank you. I'm sure I will. Perhaps I'll stop by the hotel later and have a look around once Coco and I have settled in here.
It would be a pleasure to have you as a guest.
Thank you.
You're probably ready to kill me for my stupid remark about her versatility. I didn't mean to imply anything. It just came out that way.
It's perfectly all right.
But she did have an interesting reaction, didn't she?
Yes, she did. But there's nothing terribly amusing about any of this, is there?
If you're asking me if Gabrielle is...
I am certain that Gabrielle is much more to Michael than just a hotel manager.
Well, what do you plan to do about it?
There are going to be some changes around here.
Uncle Michael is a very handsome man. He's wealthy, powerful. I've noticed how attracted women are to him. Forgive me, it's really none of my business.
If you're asking me if Michael has strayed before, I'm afraid the answer is yes.
And why do you put up with it? Why don't you just leave him?
Oh, I don't know, Coco. I've asked myself that question a million times. I don't know why I keep forgiving him. I don't know why I keep loving him.
Well, if Michael's actions are any indication of what I have to look forward to, I'd rather stay single and uninvolved.
But, Coco, Michael's not like all men. He's a very needy person. And obviously, I have failed to give him everything he needs.
You can't blame yourself.
No, and I won't. Not anymore. My news will change everything. And as for Gabrielle Medina, Michael will no longer have any use for her. She will be nothing more than a fond memory of a momentary indiscretion.
What are you going to do with the explosives?
No one's going to be hurt.
You've got enough dynamite there to blow up the entire mountain.
We have no intention of blowing up the mountain. We need to create a small firestorm. The expert understands that, right?
You assured me that the storm will be more for show than for substance.
Good.
You're certain a firestorm is necessary?
Absolutely. We need to recreate that moment when Vicky Buchanan became Nikki Smith for the first time 25 years ago.
You made plans to kidnap her and bring her up here.
That's not going to be necessary. Leo here has volunteered to lure her to the cabin on the promise of imparting some important news. She doesn't realize just how interesting that news will be.
What if your plan doesn't work?
It will work.
How can you be sure this explosion will snap Vicky's mind and bring back Nikki Smith? You're taking a hell of a chance.
I take a lot of chances, Leo. Hadn't you noticed? Well, I think I know who that is. Yes. Come in, come in. Leo and Arthur. This is Lysander Clare.
You're the man who wiped out Vicky's memory 25 years ago.
Yes.
What is he doing here, Michael?
Never mind, you'll find out soon enough. All right, gentlemen. Each of you knows exactly what to do, and I expect everything to go like clockwork.
The munitions expert should be here shortly.
Good. That means Leo can make his call, and the stage will be set for Victoria Buchanan to relive the worst moment of her life.
Everybody knows you can win $10 million from Publishers Clearinghouse this January 31st.